This is our reaction to the very chaotic Australian Grand Prix.
I think the exciting thing with this race is that we have not seen a Red Bull on the podium for this race. There was a brake issue with the car, and early on in the race we saw a brake on fire.
I know. I think everyone, the cheers from the crowd at that Australian Grand Prix was like, it was like the man went to the moon or something. Everyone was just so happy that Verstappen wasn't in the race due to that brake problem. He said it was like having a handbrake on.
You could hear it was hilarious, sort of watching and just going, oh, I can hear everybody laughing, cheering, etc. And I thought, well, yeah, I'm in the same position. I'm cheering at this because I know we're going to get a decent race from now on.
Yeah, exactly, and there'll actually be a winner that's not Max Verstappen. So that was, I think, the big happiness from everyone. But Verstappen, like you said, brake problem, the rear brake. He said it was like having a handbrake stuck on. And do you think this could potentially be something that, there might actually be a chink in the armour of the Red Bull?
I don't think so. I think ultimately they get these things fixed pretty quickly. After they sort of have that one gremlin, and then you don't really see it come along and for a while. But it's good. It makes the championship look a lot closer than it is as well, which hopefully will give some people hope. I don't want to say Ferrari hope, because we usually go well in Australia and then get our hearts broken a few races later when we realise that we're nowhere near the pace. But it gives a little bit of hope.
It does, and hopefully from now on this season could potentially be more interesting.
Ferrari, great one too, fantastic result. As a Ferrari fan, I'm ecstatic that we got our first victory on the board. Also, I'm not going to get too carried away by the fact that we've won in Australia, and we all know that winning Australia for Ferrari means that we're going to win the championship as we go through in the next races. I'm a realist.
Yeah, you've got to be realistic. but I'll tell you what, they did show very good pace today, and it's definitely a really good level to benchmark for them to go from moving forward. I couldn't believe that someone other than Max won. That for me is just it's a great feeling. Everyone's so happy that there was a fight for P1 that wasn't to do with Max Verstappen for once, and I think it's everyone's got a bit more excited about Formula One all of a sudden again.
Yeah, it's definitely palpable, the excitement. The fans that were at the track, you could definitely hear the cheering as Sainz breezed past. There were some very good overtakes into turn 9 and 10. Sainz took the position. You could definitely hear above all the engine noise. Fans enjoyed that one. I really enjoyed that one.
The sound of Australia. I think the whole of Australia jumped at once when Max's car, when the brake failed and Carlos went through. I saw some videos of the grandstands, and they were screaming and shouting. It was like, I don't know, the space rocket had just taken off and just landed on the moon. Everyone was just like going mental. Like it was great to see.
Super scenes. Hopefully, it gets people more excited for one of my favourite tracks coming up, Suzuka.
And also, major upgrades coming for a lot of teams in Suzuka as well. So that is another thing to look out for. Lewis Hamilton had that engine failure. We don't tend to really see engine failures like that anymore in modern F1. The engine just completely cut out.
A flick of a switch, and the engine had gone. That was its race run. It caps off a pretty terrible weekend for Mercedes. I would not be happy. Toto Wolff. There's more questions than answers from this race for Mercedes, in my opinion.
Yeah, they didn't have any consistency. Lewis was saying that, well, both saying, but more so Lewis was saying that the cars just like 1 minute they think, wow, we can compete in the top three, compete with them. Next minute, the car's just gone. So the inconsistency there is obviously a worry for them, but to have 2 DNFs as well, and we'll get on to Russell as well while we're here. I know that obviously that happened later in the race, but as we're talking about Mercedes, Russell obviously again, Singapore last year has come back to haunt him. He's last lap, he's gone off, had a nasty crash with Alonso. Alonso then given a 20-second time penalty by the stewards after the race, which took him down to P8.
Yes, it was a bit chaotic in that regard, and I think with Mercedes, just looking at them, they seem like the 4th best, maybe potentially even 5th best team at the moment. It might even start to put Aston Martin ahead, because I mean, strong weekend from Alonso, obviously bar the penalty at the end. Good weekend from Lance Stroll, both points finishes. It's looking good for them, and bad for Mercedes. So I don't think they are the 5th best team, but if they carry on like this, then they might be looking at that.
And McLaren looking stronger than them around Albert Park. They looked pretty decent. They looked, just behind Ferrari pace-wise, and they did very well. They obviously P3 for Norris. He got as a team order swap between him and Piastri in the race. Of course, it's Piastri's home race. Never had an Aussie on the podium. Must have been quite painful for him to swap. Obviously, Norris had better pace.
For another year, anyway.
Yeah, but must have been really difficult for Piastri to let that go, because his pace wasn't quite as good as Norris, and then to have to switch.
He got a standing ovation. Obviously, homeboy, getting from Melbourne, so getting that standing ovation. Very good drive. 3 and 4 for McLaren, in my opinion, was the best that they could extract from this race. It gives them again another platform to carry on into Japan. I think they should be very happy. That car is in a lot better position than what they had 12 months ago. They've had a much better start this year than did last year, and they've definitely slower than expected, but they're progressing from last year's build, and they've got a much better platform to work from this season, so it can only go upwards from here. Daniel Ricciardo being outperformed by his younger teammate again, with Tsunoda in a nice 7th for the RB teams. A good haul of points for
Very
RB
good.
again from one driver.
Very good haul of points there from Tsunoda, doing his job, proving that yes, Danny Rick's coming to the team, but he's still showing the team that he has a lot to give, and outperforming him in qualifying yesterday and the race today. So again, more pressure being put on Daniel Ricciardo.
I know that Red Bull, when it comes to driver lineups, are pretty ruthless with that, so can't sort of. If it carries on in Japan, maybe China and Imola, I wonder if we'll start to read in the press that there is changes afoot in the RB team.
Darth Vader is coming for you, Danny Rick. Remember that. Helmet is coming.
Liam Lawson did an exceptional job last year.
Yeah, he did do an exceptional job, and as we said in our previous video about Daniel Ricciardo, Ollie Behrman, coming in as well as an F2 driver. Again, I know he's not a Red Bull driver, he's a Ferrari driver, but come in and proving that the youngsters have a lot of talent to give and a lot to show, and can outperform these current drivers. So Haas, again, we've been quite highly praising of Haas, haven't we, as of recent? Very surprised about how well they're doing and how many points they're scoring at the moment. We thought they'd almost have 0 at this point of the season. However, again, it was a P9 and a P10 for them. Fantastic result for Haas. They must be so happy with that.
I think Haas post Günther Steiner has been pretty good. I don't think they can complain. I think they would be biting your hand off at this point in the season to get a double points finish. Yeah, 9 and 10, but do you know what? You can build on that and you can move forwards There's teams that are looking significantly worse than Haas at this point in the season, although we know that Haas usually start strong and fade away as the season carries on. Hopefully that's not so much the case. It'd be nice to see Hülkenberg and Magnussen fighting for the lower end of the points finishes. So great race for them.
Fantastic race for them. So Williams, obviously the controversy this race weekend with Albon taking Logan's chassis car, same thing, chassis car this weekend. He didn't get the point. He was P11, very close to the point. I still stand by the fact that he still done better than what Sargent would have done if Sargent was in that car, and I think everyone in reality knows that is the case. But they wanted him to get points this weekend. Albon said that the tyre deg on the car was horrific this weekend, and they just could not keep up the pace on their long stints. So, poor.
I think ultimately 11th, unlucky. Had some good battles with both of the Haas drivers for that 11th position. But, I mean, Williams, it's shown a bit of unfortunate, I suppose, almost bias in a way at that team, and doesn't really paint Logan Sargent in a fantastic light. But
no, it does not.
I mean, 11th.
It's still a good result for them. It's still a good result for them. It's just a shame they couldn't get the points, but Albon would have extracted pretty much everything out of that car, so that was all it was good for. So Australia, it's been emotional. It's been great. It's been fantastic to see the Scarlet Red Ferrari, well, both Scarlet Red Ferraris on the podium, having a different national anthem being played and just having something different for once this weekend. It's been amazing, and hopefully this is the catalyst for the rest of the season.
I hope so. It is definitely nice to hear a different national anthem. Always nice to hear the Italian national anthem for Ferrari, a bit of bounce and a bit of vigour in a national anthem rather than the Dutch and the Austrian ones, which are flat, let's put it that way. They need to work on their national anthems. But no, I think this sets us up perfectly for Suzuka in 2 weeks' time.
Exactly. So thanks guys for watching. Thank you very much. Give us a subscribe, give us a like, give us a comment, let us know what you thought of the Australian Grand Prix, and we will see you in the next one. Bye-bye.
I'll see you in 2 weeks' time. Bye.
Bye.